It is time. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Quest. I've got a special guest with us tonight, Dustin Cooley from the Personal Finance Dad. Dustin, I did not know your last name was Cooley until I got this package in the mail from you, sir.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm excited about this. I'm glad it made it.
So we are going to open this package. I kind of dropped a hint in my video on Monday. I said that it was part toy, part sports card, collectible, investment.
That's funny. Yeah. Have you seen that movie Seven? It's a severed hand, or actually in Seven it's a head, but I was trying to not make it too gruesome. So yeah, it's just a hand.
What's in the box?
What's in the box,
Dustin? Did anybody call you Cooley? Or Cooler?
Yeah.
Or Cooley growing up?
Yeah, I got a lot of that. Kind of an easy nickname.
So I was kind of doing some reconnaissance work. It's a little bit of social media stalking. I watched your recent video. You were talking about football cards. You grew up in the Panhandle, and football, the cookouts on Sundays, watching the Saints games. You would occasionally get those, and so you're a little bit older than I am. So this was like early 90s, right, or late 80s.
Yeah, it would fall into late 80s. It was really kind of 88, 89, 90, 91. Those were kind of the years where, and I was in Panama City, Florida. So I was right in the Panhandle as a New Orleans Saints fan. Regionally, I was just kind of in the edge to where I could get those Saints games, more occasionally than if I was rooting for, the Redskins or a different team or Seahawks or whatever, or the Washington football team.
but a little too far away from Tampa, and we're also, we were a dumpster fire team at that time, so not giving you a whole lot of incentive there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think. You know what? Part of the reason why I wasn't really big on the Bucks, it wasn't necessarily that I didn't like the Bucks, but part of that was we weren't in the same division back then, I don't think. I'm pretty sure that because I know we were in the division as the 49ers. We were in like the NFC West or so. It was a weird, the way that they had us divisioned up back then was not the same. And I'm not sure that maybe the Bucks were still in that same division, but I just can't remember them playing that much. But maybe they were, and I'm just missing it.
No, that's a good point. I think I remember when I was a kid, we were in a different division.
Yeah, we had Rams, 49ers, and I just can't remember the other team that was in there, but yeah, I'm not sure if it was the Bucks. I know that it was kind of the sad part was the Bucks Saints were kind of like the bad teams in the NFL. It was kind of like, because I think that the Saints didn't have a winning season. They started in 1967 was their first year as a franchise, and they didn't have a winning season, I think, for the first 20 years. So I think right when I was getting in at a good time, like 87 was like the Dome Patrol, Ricky Jackson, Pat Swilling, that elite linebacking core that we had, Sam Mills, and then we had Bobby Hebert at quarterback, the Raging Cajun. We had some pieces. We had Dalton Hilliard at running back, and I think the Bucks weren't quite there yet. This was before they got Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp and those guys and really kind of turned it around.
Yeah, those early 90s. So, by the way, guys, if you can't tell, we're already kind of talking about some borderline vintage stuff, but we're certainly going to be talking about vintage football cards tonight. We're also going to be talking about the modern market because there's a lot of news going on. I mean, it's crazy. We got new grading companies. I feel like opening up every week right now. The Washington football team announced, I saw earlier today on a Pat McAfee, thumbnail that they've released their set of names that they're thinking about. They're like voting on,
Oh, I missed that. I didn't see that.
Oh my gosh, dude. Wait till you hear some of these names that they're thinking about. I don't know how they're going to decide, but it's ridiculous.
I'll have to take a look. I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I want to talk about some of that stuff. So I want to mix some modern and some vintage stuff in tonight's thread, in tonight's live stream. And I also want to open this package from you and show everybody what I purchased from you for a and nominal. Now I don't know how much money you made off this, but it couldn't have been much because you sold it to me for $40. But I thought it was super cool. I had to have it.
You know what? Well, I don't want to ruin kind of what it is, but I'll give you kind of so I bought in bulk these items that I sent you. Or that the item that I sent you, I had bought maybe 30 of these things all in kind of a bulk order, and it just happened to be one of them. And I did get a good deal on the bulk order, so I didn't pay a specific price for that one, but the one that is in there is fairly scarce, the one that I sent you. So I think for, just being a Bucks fan, I thought it was fitting. I thought it would be, be cool.
Very cool. All right. Well, shoot. Should we dig into it, Dustin?
Whatever you want to do, man. Your show. Yeah. If you want to start with the box, sounds good to me.
Let's dig in, guys. We got the box.
You see, my packing job is amazing.
Maybe I'll put it on widescreen because it's a pretty big box. It's a pretty big box.
Yeah, I was recycling a box that I had received. I was trying to not use a new box, but trying to just recycle another box. I'd ordered one.
This is a first for everyone, right? This is the first kind of collectible like this that I've ever gotten. But I'm getting into more of this stuff, man. I thought this was super cool. Well, I think you packed it pretty well, Dustin. I mean, you got the little air packs around it.
Yeah, I tried to give it some of that big, the air packs.
Dun, dun, dun. Check it out, guys. Vinny Testaverde.
Yeah. Look at the
1986 Heisman Trophy winner.
Look at the eyebrows on that guy. That starting lineup is, I mean, that's legit. They've focused hard on the eyebrows on Vinny.
That's awesome, dude. That is awesome.
So yeah, the thing with starting lineups, even if it's, sometimes the obscure players are more rare to find still in the box for whatever reason. They're just trashed or whatever, but it's not an easy one to find necessarily. I believe that one was from 88, that first year of starting lineups. It should be either 88 or 89.
So there's a company out there, a grading company that'll put this entire thing in like a slab for me, right?
Yeah, it's AFA, or there's another company called CAS. And both companies actually have a good reputation. AFA has been around for a good little bit. They're kind of the PSA of action figure grading. CAS has been around for a couple of years, but they also have, good reputation. People use them as well.
That's awesome, man. And this card is just like starting line. Is there anything on the back of the card, or is it just blank?
Oh, are you talking about the actual? There is something on the back. So another thing is people will open up the starting. I saw something crazy. There was a starting lineup in a PSA 10. I'm trying to think of the player that it was. Maybe it was a Jordan or something, but it just sold for like $10,000. A starting lineup card that was a PSA 10. So what's been happening is a lot of people are opening those to get the cards out. They don't want they don't care about them being in the box. They want the cards, and then they're submitting those for grading. So
wow,
which makes those even more scarce, if you think about it.
Yeah, which makes I honestly, I don't ever plan on taking this out of the box. I mean, first of all, that little tiny Bucks helmet is perfect choking size for my son. So
yeah,
it'll disappear real quick. And dude, that is awesome, man. Yeah, thanks for this, dude.
I'm glad that you like it. I know for me, there was a nostalgia factor because 88 is when they started doing those. And I remember actually as a kid having like playing with them, having like Montana, having Rice and the little, put the helmets on and pretending like I'm throwing the ball and all that. So, I mean, for me, there's that nostalgia piece, that goes with it too.
Yeah. I mean, this was, man, I know he was a 1986 Heisman out of Miami. Like he broke records in Miami. So I obviously, I didn't watch him at that time because I was born in 85. I was just a little kid, but, learning about him growing up, man. And it's just kind of one of those guys, another one of those guys that the Bucks just never let fully develop,
He was a good pro. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't Joe Montana, but he was a good pro though. I mean, he was consistent. He was good.
Shout out to some of the guys here. Raven Invest made it first tonight. Of course, we got David, our man David Hunter, in the house tonight.
Yes. Yep.
Michael
Hey,
Ham.
Yeah.
You finding any select retail out there yet?
I haven't been looking, but I honestly, just hearing the stories and stuff, I just assume that there's a million people that are in front of me, so it's, honestly, I just don't go to Walmarts and Targets enough for it to be a thing. And I haven't been trying. I was thinking about going, maybe not tomorrow, but hitting a Friday Target and videoing it, going early and just kind of for content purposes, but also just to kind of see what it's like. How about you? Have you been looking for it?
No, I haven't been looking for it. I'll tell you what I did though yesterday. I've entered into my first box break. Total gamble. I know, and it's total gamble, and I really am just doing it for the experience and also potential collaboration. So, Packer Cards 87 and his buddy Cheddar Bob 5-0, Cheddar Bob 5-0. And Packer Cards 87, when I first went on YouTube and searched football cards, it was him that came up. And he's just a dude opening packs, but he's got like 60,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And very knowledgeable. All I've ever seen him rip, honestly, is football. I think maybe he's branched out. He's doing some other stuff. But I think his primary focus is football. And they started a breaking company, Barbell Breaks. And I heard about it on Instagram, and so I checked it out, and I saw the slot available for the Philadelphia Eagles, $140 for a 2020 Select Hobby Box break. It's going to be live this Saturday night, but I bought it. I'm in it. So wish me luck, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, what's funny is my brother-in-law, that I didn't realize, he might actually be listening right now. I sent him the link, but and I didn't know how big he was into it, but he actually went to a card shop. He's getting into it, and he bought a box of Select for $300. And I don't know if it was like a mega box or something, but he was like, I want to support local. Maybe I spent a little bit more than what it is, but it is a different box than what I've seen. It includes an auto, where I've seen some of the boxes don't include an auto. So, but I thought that was cool. I was like, are you going to open it or what? And I was like, dude, if you open it, you need to video it. You need to send me the clip so I can put it into a video and share it. And that's exactly what I told him to do. Nice. So we'll see. I don't know if he's going to actually open it or not, but I told him I would I'd buy the Saints cards out of there if he does open it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's incredible content. I mean, everything that I've seen, I almost find it weird. I don't know if you have seen the same thing, Dustin, but it seems like, from going back to the beginning of the season when Donruss was released for football, and then they go through the season, Mosaic, and then Prism, and then Optic, and all the other sets in between, I feel like the sets have gotten more and more loaded. Like the hit rate has gone up. Almost like as if Panini's saying, we want to make sure people are still buying this product, and we want the hype to stay super high. So let's increase the hit rate now, because now the season's over, and there hasn't been. I don't know if you feel the same way about that. If that's kind of what you've seen.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting, because you're right. Because in a way, when they're selling these boxes that are very expensive, it's kind of like selling lottery tickets. They're selling like. But the more I did a video on National Treasures today that's just releasing this week. And it's like, it's a $4,000 box and there's 8 cards in it, but they've got, if you look at kind of the checklist, they've got so many different types of hits. Like there's so many different, RPAs and so many different patch autos and different, mem cards. And I don't know. And I mean, I guess, a similar thing is happening. I guess what the thing that I want to look at, and part of the reason why for football cards, like I know, I've been buying Tom Brady. I've been focused on like 2012 to 2018 is kind of my sweet spot for all the parallel stuff. And part of the reason for that is because my concern is that as they move into more of the 2020, 2019, 2020, 2021, kind of like what you said, they're just going to create more and more parallels, more and more hits. So it's like I might have this numbered card out of, $2.99, but how many different numbered cards do they have? Do they have,
Mhm.
50 different parallels and variations? Are they going to increase those? Are they going to continue to just add, more parallels to kind of water it down? So that's something that I'm watching. And I don't have hard numbers to see if they have more parallels this year than they did last year or the year before, but that's something that I would pay attention to, I guess for myself, but also for others.
I feel like they could almost do it and we wouldn't notice, It's like it's so sneaky because there's so many parallels already. It's a new parallel is like, oh, okay, that's cool, and they look cool. They're beautiful. They're shiny, chrome, refractored out and everything else. And it's numbered. They're like, oh man, that's numbered. It's numbered out of two. There's only 299 of those that exist, or only 499 of those that exist.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm looking at Ziggy's comment too about National Treasures. I agree. I mean, there's a history to that product. There's some unbelievable, probably some of the most high, the highest price cards as far as the hits go. There, I was looking at the thing that I was trying to see is what do past years kind of more like commons. If you got like a mem card, like a Baker Mayfield mem card, 2019 from last year, which to me, I feel like that would be a nice card. And there's some really nice cards on eBay, and they were 25 or $30 for that Baker Mayfield. So I'm kind of like, I could get these beautiful cards without taking the risk. Now, granted, if I want a Burrow RPA or a Herbert RPA, I'm going to have to pay out the wazoo for it. If I'm going to buy that single card, that's where buying the box or buying into the break, is going to be the way into that card. But the thing that kind of troubled me about it is there's so much, and I mentioned on the video, it's like there's so many different subsets. There's so many different inserts. They've got colossal signatures. They've got rookie gloves, rookie helmets. It's literally like, there's, if you look at the checklist, it's like, it's endless. So what are the odds of you getting that Herbert RPA, or that Burrow RPA? I mean, if you're going to spend $4,000 on a box, it's like, you may as well just put that, save it, like put 10 grand into the Burrow RPA, just buy the single card, in my opinion. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if it was me and I was like, I really want this Burrow RPA, I would just find a way to buy it without buying the boxes and going that route. Just me though. I know we're getting off topic because you were talking select and I went to National Treasures. My bad.
Well, yeah, but from everything that I've heard, like David Hunter, great resource guy in the hobby, and talking to him, and him and I collaborated on an article that he wrote, and his point was that if you're going to spend up for a more rare card for rarity, to go to the National Treasures, because that's like the cream of the crop in our hobby, and I agree with you, because you could end up spending thousands and thousands. Like I spent $140 on the select box break, but I may end up with nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Explain again. So you paid $140? Do you get like, is that one team
Yeah,
or
one team.
How does it now? Is it random, or do you pick the team, or how does that work?
Yeah, so he had a list of teams left available. Like he had the Cowboys, he had the Dolphins, he had the Eagles. And then the Chargers were sold out, the Bengals were sold out, and there are a lot of other teams were not on there, actually, not even on his drop down list. And he had different prices for the teams that were available. Like the Cowboy, I found it interesting because the Cowboys was only $70, and it's one select hobby box, and you get all the cards that are pulled for that team. So I got the Eagles for 140. I'm thinking I really want Jalen Hurts, but there's also Jalen Reagor, that he's a good athlete and stuff. And you never know what kind of veteran card you could pull that's autographed, or like a Donovan McNabb or something like that.
Did you also get the Cowboys too, or just the Eagles?
No, just the Eagles. Just the Eagles, because I'm really doing it for the experience, and just kind of. I've never done one before. I've talked to Ziggy about it. I've talked to Mike Ham about it. I've talked to several guys about doing breaks, and I just thought it was cool because I've always respected Packer Cards 87, and his standing in the community and his consistency, and I can't imagine what that guy's card collection looks like at his house. It's got to be absolutely insane. So. Yeah, I just did the Eagles for the experience, and we'll see what happens. It's on the government.
Mm. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, yeah, tell me how that. I want to know how that goes. I haven't. The only breaks I've ever done are with Steve, Flipping Steve, his
Oh,
YouTube
okay.
channel. And it was just like literally like 10, hey, I've got these I've got these boxes. There's, I need 10 guys to do it. We did it. But it was nothing like it was not high stakes. It was like it was 2019 basketball, and it was like $30 a team or something. I don't know. But and he had like a bunch of the what were they? I can't remember the types of packs that they were, but anyway, it wasn't high stakes
Like
at all. It was
Chronicles or something.
No, it was definitely Mosaic basketball. It was retail stuff. He found it
Oh,
at
okay.
it was like he was at the Walmart. He got, back when you didn't have to stand in line. This was like a year and a half ago. Maybe
Oh,
no, it was
wow.
maybe like a year. This is about a year ago because we already had the YouTube channel and everything. So yeah, maybe a year ago, maybe a little bit, maybe 10 months or something. But it was fun. It was a good time. So when the break, you already said this, but when does the break happen again?
Saturday night. I don't even have the YouTube link yet. It wasn't on the actual website, but I think if I just go to Packer Cards 87 YouTube, it's Saturday night. It's the second hobby box he's breaking. I know that. It was the hobby box break number 2.
I'm gonna make a note of that so I can tune in if I'm available Saturday night. We'll see. Second box select football. I want to see that magnificent Jalen Hurts card come out.
Dude, me a field level silver or an RPA or one of those gold prisms numbered out of 10. Let's go.
Tell me about. Well, go ahead. I mean, actually, go ahead. I wanted to pick your brain about just kind of what you're going for now, kind of your pickups and what you're targeting and stuff like that. We haven't talked about that recently.
Yeah, no, I've been doing a mix and match of some vintage and modern, and I'm kind of really slowed down my buying recently, particularly on eBay, just because so many guys are up. They're up, like their charts, their stock is all up, like across the board. I mean, even super speculative buys like Ryan Finley. I'll bring him up just for his potential possibly being a starting quarterback in Houston. A shout out to Raven Invest there on that one. Because
Are you serious? I need to get my Finleys up. I have a bunch of Finleys.
I thought you did. It was one of the reasons why I brought it up. But I mean, even guys like that, Raven Invest, I talked to him a week or two ago on the channel, and he's a very speculative ad, but just for the fact that, I mean, because there's so many savvy investors like ourselves that are in the market now that are taking this fantasy football mindset, and really analyzing the market and looking at who could potentially be hyped up. And they're just, I mean, the stock is going up across the board on so many different guys that I've really slowed down because there hasn't been much of a pullback at all.
That's really interesting. No, and I've seen that too to some degree. Because I was doing the same thing. I was like, all right, I'm going to wait for football off season, and then I'm going to buy up. And you're right. I mean, I've gone back to the prices. It's like, well, there's not really any major deals. I mean, I think that I think the deals that are going to be had are going to be like May 1st to June 1st. That's going to be,
Yeah.
I'm predicting that. And the only reason why I say that is because, no, I'm sorry. I messed that up. I messed that up. May 15th to June 15th, because the draft is April 29th. The draft is April 29th. So give it 2 weeks after the draft. Maybe maybe people are paying attention to baseball. They're paying attention to basketball wrapping up, because we'll be in playoff basketball mode at that point. So I think May 15th, to June 15th. I'm speculating, but I think that's where we might see some action.
I like that analysis because I really see it happening for multiple reasons. Like you mentioned, the basketball playoffs, MLB in full swing. Hockey starts up, right? Hockey starts up.
I don't. Yeah, when does hockey? I'm not sure on
I,
hockey.
I think it starts up somewhere in that time period, around the end of May, June time period. And then my other thought process is, and I can't remember who I heard. Oh, I think it was from one of the fantasy football guys that I listened to. Just they were talking about NFTs actually. And, as the NFL's getting into the NFT market now, doing their own Top Shot variation. Of course, Tom Brady's NFTs are already through the roof. Rob Gronkowski, Patrick Mahomes, but they're basically talking about how people are getting vaccinated, the country's slowly starting to open back up, and all kids are going to be out of school here pretty soon. It's going to be summertime. All the snow's melted everywhere. People are going to start investing their money into experiences again over stuff.
Yeah,
That's kind of the thought process there.
yeah, and I've talked. Yeah, Brad, I think feels the same way about that too. There's just going to be like summertime is going to be travel time. Getting it's just people are going to be focused on some different things. I really hope that you're right because I mean, we talked about it. Like football cards are my first love, and then there's other. I like basketball cards. I like other things too, but I was a little bit bummed when, I've been buying a lot of Tom Brady stuff, but I'm not getting any amazing deals on those Tom Brady things. It's like I'm paying either, market or above market, and I'm okay just because I'm buying him, long term. But, I'm ready for a little bit of a dip. I would like to kind of get in and spec on some of these, current players that are, these young players. I'd like to spec on them. And right now you're right. I mean, if Ryan Finley is high, guys, if you're looking for Josh Rosen, Mason Rudolph, or Ryan Finley cards, reach out to me, friends. I've got some for you. I'll give you a special deal.
Yeah, I should have started off with that, guys. If you guys aren't subscribed to Dustin's channel, you can find him at the Personal Finance Dad on YouTube. He puts up a new video almost every single day, right, Dustin?
Every 9 minutes.
Every 9 minutes, he puts up a 5-minute video. I don't know how he does it.
Actually, if you don't mind, Andy, I'm going to clip this out into 40 different videos when we're done and just put those.
We'll just talk about, the ad. I mean, your channel's growing, bro. I mean, you're almost at 10,000 subscribers now. I remember when I got started, you were. Over. What was that? You're over now?
I just squeaked over 10,000. I don't know if it was like I don't know if YouTube was like messing with me, but I'm at like 10,050. But it was weird though because I sat at like 9,950 for like 2 weeks. Like it was like just very slowly. I don't know if they were just messing with me or what, but
they evaluated your channel and saw that 200 of those were other members of the Cooley family.
Yeah, that's right.
A bunch of robots, a bunch of bots.
Exactly.
That Brad created for you.
Exactly. I wouldn't doubt that at all. I don't understand a lot of the metrics and all that stuff. So if there was 500 weird, bot accounts or something, it wouldn't shock me.
So I see a lot of comments about the draft coming up in 2 weeks. Are you, I'm sure you're excited about that. It seems like the Saints are pretty much set with Jameis Winston at QB, plus they draft very late in the first round. I don't even know who you got. Honestly, I haven't heard much news at all coming out of New Orleans.
Yeah, it's a weird time. I mean, for New Orleans Saints fans, because we've had Breeze for 15 years starting. That it's been set. So yeah, I agree with you. I think that they are going to roll with Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. I think a big part of that is salary cap. We were way over the cap. We had to make a bunch of, not necessarily cutting a lot of players. We did cut some players, but we had to renegotiate contracts on a bunch of guys. So I think there's a lot of cuts that had to be made just to field a team. I mean, there wasn't, I don't expect, and even like Loomis, our GM, was like, hey, look, we're not going to be making a big splash in free agency. We just don't have the cap space. But the thing that can be kind of interesting about the draft, though, is that a QB in the draft is cheap. I mean, that's the reason why probably the first 4 picks are going to be QBs, because they want to lock in a QB for 4 years with that 5th-year option for cheap, because QBs are expensive, once they get into that second deal. So I guess I'll be really, really interested to see if the Saints maybe stretch and take a QB at 25 or wherever we're sitting. I haven't even looked at it. I mean, we have other needs, obviously, but we didn't lose a lot of guys. We still have a solid team. And, honestly, I don't know. I don't think they're going to reach on a QB, though. I think they'll probably just take, a linebacker, corner. We lost the Jackrabbit, Jenkins, so we don't really have a number 2 corner. Marshawn Lattimore got arrested for some sort of a gun charge.
I heard about that.
I don't know whatever happened with that, but that's concerning because that's our number 1 corner. So I would think cornerback would be high on the list for the Saints. So we might just sit pat and just take the best cornerback available. We always, another thing too, we always draft linemen. We always draft offensive linemen in the first round, and we always
smart.
And we always typically have, a good offensive line. So I don't see them making a huge splash. I think we're just going to roll with the guys we've got, and just kind of see how it goes. But I'm always excited for the draft just to see where guys go, see what happens. I'll be honest though, and I know I'm kind of, your hometown Bucks. I know you're a Bucks fan. I really think that the Bucks are going to repeat. I just don't see, and the reason why I say that is because they didn't lose anybody. I mean, like typically, like a team wins a Super Bowl and like half the team leaves to go into free agency and they go get big contracts. It actually worked out beautifully for the Bucks that the cap went down because of the pandemic. So really, like a lot of these free agents that the Bucks might have had, they're not going to leave because they're not going to go get big money elsewhere like they would in a typical NFL offseason. So that's where this year has really benefited the Bucks because they re-signed Shaq Barrett. I think Shaq Barrett got a big deal.
Yep.
They didn't lose anyone, and if they stay healthy, I just don't see who beats them outside of the Chiefs. I just don't see it.
And yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with you. I love the statement, man. The prediction, right? Just for being a fan here my entire life, but.
And I'm a Saints fan. I'm a division rival, but I'm also just realistic too.
Yeah.
I call it like it is.
And you can't deny Tom Brady's greatness and just what he brings to the field.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I've always been kind of a Tom Brady hater in a way, not because I think that he's a bad dude or anything, but just because it's like, oh man, like this guy's always getting the calls and this guy's always got. Now, I will say he always did have a very good defense in New England, and then he always played it. I mean, it was like the perfect storm of he played in the worst division in football for 15 plus years. I mean, if you think like the Jets, Dolphins, and Bills did not have a franchise quarterback for the entire time that Tom Brady was a quarterback there. I mean, I wouldn't call Chad Pennington for the Jets or Mark Sanchez for the Jets, that guy. So if you think about that, and then you also think that Belichick put a top 5 defense on the field for a decade of that. I mean, like that's one stat with Breeze, and you could compare Breeze, Rodgers, any of these guys to Tom Brady, but like Tom Brady had a top 5 defense for like 77% of his career. Just kind of keep that. And then like Drew Brees had a top 5 defense for 18% of his starts. I mean, so that's where you kind of look at football's the ultimate team game. It's not just one guy, but the QBs are the ones that are most important in most cases. But I think it's just kind of that opportunity meets skill and meets preparation. And Tom Brady's just the most prepared guy, and opportunity came and he's made it happen. So it's not a knock on him, but it's just circumstances have also played out in his favor as well, I would say.
Definitely. Yeah, you can't deny that. But I will say that he's also made sacrifices, right? I mean,
that's an excellent
historically
point.
Over his career, he's taking considerably less money than Drew Brees.
That's an excellent point. And that's actually a very underrated take. That you're exactly right. The guy was like middle of the pack salary wise so that he could be on a winning team. And he made that sacrifice and he's got all the rings to show for it. And that is really true. That's a good point.
And he's still doing it. He's like, hey, cut my salary, bare bones. I want Shaq Barrett back. We need the defense, that kind of thing. Yeah. And it just like it's how I think that goes a long way. I mean, not only just to freeing up the salary cap to being able to get those really good supporting cast players all on both sides of the ball, but also to really, that sends a clear message of how much he believes in the team and how much respect he has for those guys on the team, which just lifts them up, makes them play even better, for him, even though he gets all the MVPs in the limelight for everything, kind of the lead singer of the band,
Yeah, I think that also speaks to, like, if Tom Brady's going to take less money while he was on the Patriots, then a lot of those other guys on the Patriots probably did the same thing. They're like, well, I could probably make a couple million more in Oakland or wherever, but I like my team here. We got a great team. We're winning, so I'm going to stay here. So he was kind of leading the pack, because I would never hear about New England signing a guy for like a record deal. You just don't hear. You never heard about that. And that was probably because Tom Brady wasn't taking a record deal, so it probably just carried down to him. And then, I think the same thing happened with the Bucks. I mean, he went to the Bucks. He's not making 35 million or 32 or whatever Dak or, some of these other guys are getting paid, and it's not a knock on them. Make your money and take your money, but it's exactly what you said. I mean, if you take your money, your team's going to suffer, and you're probably not going to win. So it's a give and take.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I'll try and shout out to you, dude. Huge thank you, because you tipped me off. Dustin, guys, bought a PSA 10 of a card that was very similar to the one I showed on my Monday Mail Day video. The Hot Rookies. It's a first-year select, so this is very much an investment item for me as much as it is personal collection. I love the card. I love the little paragraph on the back about him feeling better and throwing the ball better than ever after 14 years in the league, because it's like just he feels the same way today, and that's like why he's the GOAT. And you bought a PSA 10 copy. When you sent that to me, I was like, holy crap, dude! I've got to go find this card. And I looked and I found one that was the White Hot, which I couldn't really find which one was more rare in print run, that Red Hot or the White Hot. But I saw the back of the card of mine was also red, and I was like, oh, that's sick. And I got mine for raw for like $75. But you got a PSA 10 for a really sweet deal, like $300, right?
Yeah, it was 250 plus tax and stuff. So yeah, it was like 275. I think that the one that you got, though, actually, I think the one that you got in like a PSA 10 there was one I was watching, and it was $1,000 or best offer in a PSA 10. So I think that the one that you got, I don't see it as often as the one that I got listed. So I don't know, as far as like print run and stuff, I'm not really sure. They're not numbered, so I'm not really sure which one is more rare, but that one that you got, though, is a good one. I mean, that was a good pickup.
I felt like it. I mean, first year select. So we've got that whole phenomenon that happened with basketball, first year Prism. Surely, and we saw that with first year select on basketball, and I know it's happened a little bit with football. It's got to bleed over, maybe not as much, right? But it's just only a matter of time.
Yeah, one thing that I do, and some people might knock me, is like, oh, that's not really a good comparison to make. And it's not, I'm not saying it's like the only variable, but the one thing that I do when I'm looking at like a 2015 Prism, Tom Brady, PSA 10, whatever, I'll compare it to the LeBron James in the same year, because I'm looking at kind of like, these are like kind of the GOATs in their sport outside of like, you've got MJ obviously in basketball, but LeBron is kind of the man right now in basketball, the same way that Tom Brady is in football. But Tom Brady doesn't get the same sort of love. His cards don't get the same sort of love as LeBron James. They have gotten that love over the last couple of months, I've noticed, because I'm looking at like the stuff that I'm buying at a premium to where it was, right before the Super Bowl. And yeah, that's a great card. I love that card.
There it is, guys. Yeah, that card is sick. But I don't know if I agree with that. Going back to your statement, I didn't mean to kind of interrupt you there, but I think I agree with that mindset, because LeBron is the GOAT of basketball, modern day basketball, and Tom Brady's the GOAT of modern day football. and albeit, yeah, basketball's got a bigger global reach. There's less players on the team, so they all touch the ball more, and it's got the global reach. But football is the highest revenue earning league in the entire world, leaps and bounds over basketball, hockey, MLB, everything. They just don't have the global reach. But I
Right. And
think that cards
they're
like
working on
this,
that though. Yeah, they're definitely working on that. They've got London games, they've got Mexico City games. I mean, the NFL right now might not be a global sport the same way that basketball is, but that doesn't mean it won't be in 10 years or 15 years or 20 years. Roger Goodell I mean, he's a business minded guy. Roger Goodell is trying to generate revenue. I mean, it's kind of like what you said with NFTs and the NFL. The NFL is watching NBA Top Shot, and the NFL will have the NFL moments and all that stuff. That's coming. That's coming. I mean, and I'm not on the inside. I'm not in those meetings in the boardroom, but I just know for a fact the NFL is not going to give up. If there's money to be made, they'll make it. They'll find a way to get in there.
So yeah, big news I saw today earlier was that the NFL has made an exclusive agreement with Caesars in Vegas, DraftKings, and FanDuel for sports betting. They've made an actual agreement with those guys to actually have sports betting lines and daily fantasy betting lines on NFL Network in their NFL media. So it's going to become mainstream. The whole betting side of it.
That's really interesting. I didn't see that. Yeah. So I wonder if that's something to where the NFL is like, hey, why are we not getting a piece of this pie, this sports betting pie? Like so we'll promote them and we'll take our piece, because I assume, maybe they were getting a piece previously, but maybe they weren't. And maybe they're like, why are we not getting our bit out of this? It makes sense.
Like everybody's gambling. I mean, just like we do in sports cards, a lot of what we do investing and flipping sports cards is a gamble. And everybody's gambling on football. I mean, it's probably during the football season, it's probably more gambling going on around football than there is basketball and baseball, if I had to take a guess.
I think too, these leagues, they're probably thinking, because do we know if the NFL is going to have full stands, when the season starts? We don't really know that. And it might be like, state by state, Illinois, we talk about the national, going to the national card show. There might not be a national this year, in Illinois, because they're still working towards getting back. So what does that, but what does that also mean for Chicago Bears games? It means they're not going to be full stadiums if they're not allowing it. So, with the NBA, the NBA with NBA Top Shot is probably looking at like different streams of revenue. What are other ways we can generate revenue? Because we don't have people in the stands and we don't have people buying hot dogs and Cokes and stuff and buying all the stuff, so how else can we generate revenue? And so it's opening the door for other things. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting.
What do you think about this, Dustin? Shout out to Drew. Easy does it.
I think it's going to be a lot more injuries with the 17 game season. Or maybe it's a good question. I don't know, because they also expanded the playoff. They also expanded the number of teams that get into the playoffs. Maybe teams will rest players more. Maybe that'll be more normal, kind of in the same way that the NBA does. Because if you look at the NBA right now, look at like the Lakers. Okay, like LeBron and Anthony Davis are going to sit there until it's playoff time, until it's probably a week before the playoffs. They'll come in, they'll play a few games to get their legs under them. And then they'll get ready for playoff basketball. Kevin Durant, I'm sure those guys could come back and play right now, but they don't want to risk further injury. And then why would they if they're already in the playoffs and you don't have any sort of home field advantage, home court advantage, because there's no one in the stands anyway. It's not loud anywhere, and it's, so I think that we'll probably see more resting of players, for the top teams anyway.
Interesting.
What's your take? What's your take on 17 games?
I mean, it's only, in the grand scheme, it's only one extra week, right? But it's like, I get it. I think that I agree with Drew here in that records will be broken. I do think we could see some additional sitting of players. I mean, especially when teams get so far ahead, and we had a lot of tight had a lot of tight records coming down the stretch last year. I mean, the playoff race was moving, especially with those extra seeds coming out of each division. That added a definitely a huge dynamic, I think, to the NFL, even more so than this extra week. I think this extra week will lead to new records broken by certain guys.
Yeah, it's kind of too bad in a way because you're right. I mean, there will be records broken just simply because you're adding one more game, and if a guy plays 10 years, a guy that gets drafted in 2 weeks, he's never played anything other than a 17 game season. It's kind of like when they used to have 15 games in the NFL. I mean, it used to be a 15 game season now it's 16, and then now it's going to be 17. And then when people talk about, records and everything else, you have to take that all into account. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. I think it's one of those things where, like, if my team is fighting to get into the playoffs and I want 17 games, and if my team is already set and good to go, then I'm not happy about it. I don't want guys to get injured.
Yeah, that's
I do hope that they allow teams to have more players on the active roster, because I know that that's kind of an issue too with this is like, all right, what happens if guys go down for injury? You don't have enough linemen. It'd be nice for the NFL to say, hey, you can have 90 guys on the, however many guys, like 80 guys that you can add to the roster if needed. And then that way you can have backups ready to go if guys get hurt or whatever.
That's a big upgrade, man. That's a big upgrade. That'd make it a lot easier for teams to manage their rosters.
Yeah.
We could see some lopsided, we could see some lopsided teams in the NFL, just from savviness. I mean, just some clear disparity between intelligence levels and, kind of strategy between the general managers of some of these teams. Like you said, drafting offensive linemen, if you're weak in offensive line, drafting offensive linemen before your franchise quarterback is a very smart move.
Yeah, and I bring that up because I heard Sean Payton talking about that, coach of the Saints, where he was talking about basically like, linemen is where we're running into issues because you can, it's not like if you're the number one seed, you can just rest all your guys, and like if you have nothing to play for, you can't really rest everybody. You still have to field a team. It would be nice if they gave the ability for you to be able to bring in backups for that one game. Because I don't think it's a bad thing. I think a team has earned the right in a 17 game season. I think if they're the 1 seed or 2 seed and they want to rest guys that might be beat up, at the end of the season for the playoffs, then allow those extra linemen to come in and play. I hope that they do that because what happens is you'll have good teams. The Kansas City Chiefs last season, at the very end of the season, they lost 2 starting linemen. And I'm not saying that was the difference in the Super Bowl. I know a lot of Chiefs fans will say that, but I have to believe that they had those 2 starting linemen that if Mahomes had a little bit more time to work with, that it would have been a better outcome for the Chiefs. They might not have won the game, but it would have been a little bit easier. And so I guess that's kind of the thing. If you're going to expand the season, give teams flexibility because injuries are rampant in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. All right. Let's pivot. Let's pivot back to cards here. So have you been, because I think you asked me, it's kind of my pickups lately. So I got the Tom Brady inspired off of you. But I'm just looking at some my latest mail day here. Jalen Hurts is a guy I'm very bullish on for 2021, but his prices have definitely gone up, just like the other quarterbacks. He's on a big market team, really good athlete, so I'm kind of holding off for now. I paid too much for this base optic. This was an auction, and I was like having fun one night, and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to keep bidding because every time I bid, this other guy bid up. So I'm like, let me see. And it ended up I paid $36 for this. And I was like, oh, man, dude, the guy just stopped bidding. It's just like all of a sudden it got to 36 and he ghosted. And I'm like, oh, crap, I won the auction. I wasn't expecting to pay that. I was hoping he would win it, but so yeah, other than that. And other than that, it's really been some skill positions. I found a lot of value in going back to the 2017 draft year. Your boy Kamara, his year, and
Yeah.
these running backs from that year. There's some incredible value I found on Leonard Fournette, Joe Mixon, Marlon Mack. So just to name a few there. And so I've been buying some of those skill positions. Like we're talking about the draft. I mean, here's a lot of Brandon Ayuk that I bought of optic. I love the 2020 optic.
Oh,
I love,
nice.
yeah, I love the 2020 optic. I'd say my favorite is definitely the hollow. Like I love the optic hollow in the 2020. Just seems like such an easy grade this year. I mean, almost all of these 2020 optics that I've bought looked very well centered. The corners all look very sharp. I haven't seen the printing defects that I saw on Mosaic and Prism. And then the sealed product from everybody I talked to, the hit rate on this 2020 optic product has been really good. Really good.
Yeah, those are. I love the optic hollows. Those are nice.
Yeah, like shout out to my buddy Brad Nolan. I call him Vintage Brad because he's made a killing on vintage soccer cards up in Chicago. He's had to focus on something else because all the Chicago teams stink right now, and he's not happy about it. He wanted me to ask you though about your Jamal Murray collection.
Yeah, I honestly like. I want to buy more. I want to buy more right now. I'm trying to figure out, do I buy more now or do I wait until kind of like playoff basketball or off season, like beginning of the off season to buy in? And we've talked about this. I mean, a lot of times I don't go in on a player unless I really like that player over years. So I'm
Mm.
not, you know, now there are some times where I'm specking for a few months, like a short-term deal, but that's not my typical game though. My game plan is usually like you've seen. I buy a lot of vintage football stuff, but then I also buy guys that, I can hold on to for a while. So I look at these as opportunities. If he had an Achilles or something, I would be a little more nervous as a basketball player, but the ACL, I think he'll come back from it. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, I'm actually looking for people that are, fires, the fire sales. I'm looking for the Jamal Murray fire sales.
That's interesting. I had to throw that in there. He's been a long time subscriber. He wanted me to ask you about your Jamal Murray collection.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm going to hold. I'm team hold, but I don't have a choice. I have to be team hold. But what I'm watching for is the colored stuff and the rare stuff of his. If it comes way down in price, I'm going to buy it. I'm looking for it, and I'll buy it up because
yeah,
this is kind
long
of what
term
happened.
mindset.
Yeah, yeah, and not even. I mean, when we talk about long term, I mean this could be like 12 months. It's not like we're talking about like 5 years. We're talking about like the next NBA, the next NBA season, which is not even a year away. So for me, that's kind of a no brainer. If you like the player, I mean, if it's like to me, Jamal Murray's done enough. He's proven enough. I like the Nuggets as a young team with the Joker. I think they're going to be good for a while. So that's why I'm good with him. But that's not. I'm not saying that's every player. That's just that particular one. So injuries don't scare me. Actually, so pivoting back to football, what are your thoughts on like CMC, Saquon Barkley,
Mm.
guys like that have those prices come back? Because I remember there was some fire sales when they got injured. I mean, I assume those were the best buying times, but I could be wrong. Have
They
you been
were.
watching those guys? Have they rebounded?
I've been keeping my eye on Christian McCaffrey and Saquon. Actually, I get a lot of messages about Saquon, Christian McCaffrey, just because of their prodigy. I mean, what they've already done in the short time of their careers is just incredible, and they have the potential to be that Walter Payton generational, Hall of Fame running back. But man, I tell you what, and their prices, so their stock right now is up. It's up. I mean, the best time to have bought them was October, November. I mean, they're up over
Yeah.
100% from that price point. They're not at the point that they were in September of last year, but I feel that they'll probably get back there once people start seeing them on the field, start seeing them, practicing. Preseason, I think, is going to be a huge thing this year for hype for football cards. Me personally, I'm not. I'm really concerned about Saquon. I know that a lot of guys like, oh no, he's going to come back. I mean, obviously, he's still very young. He's like not even 25, right? He's probably like 24 years old. And
Yep.
Christian McCaffrey too. Christian McCaffrey now, he comes from this 2017 draft class, and he's probably like almost 26 now. And he blamed it on working out too hard and pushing himself too hard the previous offseason. I don't know what it was, but he definitely had a rough year last year. I could see him. He takes his work, his craft very seriously, and from what I've seen, almost everybody in our hobby and in fantasy football and stuff are still holding Christian McCaffrey and Saquon in their top 5 in their dynasty rankings, which
Yeah.
is correlates very well to football cards because it's like the best in the league right now, not from a win standpoint, but from an athletic performance standpoint. So Tom Brady's not going to be in the top 10 dynasty rankings because he's not a top 10 fantasy performer week in and week out because he doesn't put those yards on the ground, like so many of the modern day quarterbacks do. But Christian McCaffrey and Saquon are still up there. And so therefore their rookie cards are still coming with a significant premium. There hasn't been a pullback on those guys. But me personally, I'm very concerned about the future of Saquon more so just because of how easily I felt like he hit that ACL last year. And then Christian McCaffrey was more of a high ankle sprain and then a shoulder injury. I felt those were a little unlucky. I felt like they were more unlucky versus Saquon's. I felt like, oh man, is this like a lower body injury going to be a trend with Saquon now? It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's kind of a thing is this going to turn into like another ACL down the road? Or is it just like the one ACL and then they're good to go and they play, for 5 years or whatever? It also just depends. I mean, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm never holding running backs long term is like a 12 months for a running back is a long time for me, and I always say I'm not buying lots of modern running backs. I'm buying vintage stuff for running backs, but if I was to buy modern running backs, and I did a little bit last season, I got some Saquon stuff and I got some CMC stuff, nothing big, small stuff. But thinking that I was going to flip it and then they got hurt. And so it was like, all right, well, and I'm just kind of sitting on those. So, but that was kind of just fun speculation, those guys.
The guy that I'm more bullish on, that's a little bit older, that's comparable to those guys as far as resume so far in the NFL, Derrick Henry. I love Derrick Henry just because I think he's like so freaking sturdy, solid. Like I watched a clip of him the other day working out. The workout, I'm sure the other guys are doing something similar, but it's just like Derrick Henry hasn't had those injuries. Knock on wood, you know what I'm saying? And he's a 2016 rookie, so when you get his rookie card, whether it's like his first year optic, and it's his rookie card, and it's like a double whammy there, man. And he's just such a stud. Now Tennessee's not a very big market team, but they have made runs these last couple years, a lot of because of what he's done on the ground. And he's obviously been the rushing leader in the NFL for the last 2 years. It's pretty incredible, man.
Yeah, I agree. I've got a couple of his optic hollow rookies, Derrick Henry. I love that card.
Nice.
Just raw ones. They're not graded, but I like the look. He's like holding the ball. He just like, yeah, I mean, it's a great looking card. And I've got a few of just the regular ones, not the hollow ones, but just the regular optic rookies. The same with Kamara. I've got a bunch of just being a Saints fan, I've got like lime green optic rookies for Kamara. I've got the blue one. I've got some cool optic rookies for him.
Nice. So go ahead, Dustin.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I agree on Derrick Henry totally. He's an animal.
Yeah, and Kamara as well. Kamara, another 2017 guy, but when I was like comparing CMC, Kamara, Leonard Fournette, Joe Mixon, Marlon Mack, and one other. There was 6. I don't know. I'm slipping my mind, but Kamara and CMC were definitely elevated well over the other guys. So when it comes to selling football cards, now I don't hear you talking a lot about Star Stock on your channel. Have you done anything on Star Stock yet?
The only thing I've done is I bought and sold a few. Who is the guy that plays for, I think, the Magic? Graham. I bought and sold 3 basketball cards on that platform. I haven't done anything on it, and okay. I really probably should do more. I should take same with ComC and Star Stock. I should be buying more football cards, on those, especially Star Stock. I just haven't taken advantage of it. And on the football side, I've just been buying more of the vintage stuff that I like and just holding it, or not even necessarily vintage, but like I bought a couple like nice Breeze rookie cards. One of them's an auto, like a 2000 Upper Deck auto. So I bought not necessarily 40-year-old cards, but a lot of them are more just kind of holds, probably more PC long-term hold type items. Not that I wouldn't sell them if they got up to the right price, but if it's kind of one of those deals, like I always talk about, like I'm okay. I buy stuff I'm okay being stuck with for a while. So yeah, I have not been selling a lot of football. Actually, I did sell. What have I been selling? I did sell an Alvin Kamara rookie card, an optic red. I sold not that long ago, and it was a PSA 9. I bought it for $60. I sold it for $140 maybe a few weeks ago. So I do sell, and I even sell Saint stuff, which is like people say like, oh, that's Alvin Kamara, that's your guy. I do sell some Saint stuff too if it's the right time, and also I've been buying other things, and I don't have like all this new money all the time. So it's like I've got to recycle some things to be able to afford the new stuff. So yeah, on the football side, I'm not selling a ton, but a big part of that is I don't have a lot of modern to sell. If I had a lot of modern football, then I would be moving it. And that might be something that I do more of, here. But kind of like what you were saying, I just haven't found. I thought the offseason was going to be the big buying opportunity to get in, and it just hasn't been that yet. So maybe you and I will be talking a lot more in the next couple months, maybe when draft time, gets done with, and maybe it softens a little bit.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope so. Because buying's the fun part, right? It's like selling is that thing that you got to do out of.
How is
kind of balance it out?
How have you been doing a lot on Star Stock for football? Have you been liking?
I'm up big time on Star Stock. I just cashed out a bunch of money actually that I'm gonna roll over into getting a lot of these raw cards I have here graded, and we could talk about that some too. But yeah, Star Stock has been incredible. I think I sold over. At this point, I've sold almost 500 football cards only on Star Stock, all modern. Wow. And Star Stock has now added vintage cards to their website.
I just got an email about that, I think today or yesterday. That's cool.
There's only 3 football cards on there. Dan Marino rookie card. Dear God, I can't think of the other 2. I remember the Dan Marino. I just screenshot it yesterday, dude. Anyways, got up too early today. Blame it on that.
That was a card that I sold a little. So I had a PSA 9 Dan Marino rookie card that I bought. I actually got a deal on it, and this was like 18 months ago. It was shipped from Canada. So I don't know if people were just not bidding on this auction, maybe because of the Canadian shipping was more expensive. And I got it for $101. And then the shipping was like $11. It was a little bit, instead of it being like $5, it was like 11 or $12. And then I ended up selling it for, I think, like $300. And then now I think they're like $500 or $600 or more. Yeah. Those things just kept going up. I know I sold I sold a few things a little bit. Brad coming in hot with the hair. Hey, I kind of like that flip, Brad. I look like what's the Karen haircut? Is that the Karen haircut?
Oh, I had to make sure. It looks like you just woke up from a nap. Got the bed head going, man.
And I haven't even been to sleep yet. I haven't slept in 4 days. No, I'm kidding.
Well, at least you have hair. That's why I wear a hat in all my videos. No, so I pulled up Star Stock. It's a Peyton Manning and a Deion Sanders. They got the Deion Sanders, the tops traded in his Falcons jersey, and they've got the Bowman Chrome Manning, a PSA 10, the first one for sale from 1300, and then they've got the Flair Showcase, which is a beautiful card. I'm gonna have to throw this up here.
I've got 3 of those Dion tops traded rookies. I just like the look of those cards. And they're all PSA 9. I got them for maybe like 60 or 70 bucks. But you know what? I remember a year and a half ago, the PSA 10s were like 70, 80 bucks. And I was basically getting the 9s at the same price.
That is not Star Stock. You were getting the PSA 9s at what?
Yeah, so I've got 3 PSA 9s of that Dion right there. All right, so yeah. And I paid about $60, $70 for the PSA 9s. But what I was saying is like 18 months, like a year ago, the PSA 10s were like $80. And now the PSA 10s are like $300 or whatever they are.
Wow.
It's a cool looking Dion card though. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, I like that one too. I got it. I actually got it right here.
Yeah, it's a great card.
Got me a raw copy for $10 that looks really clean, Dustin. I'm gonna send this one in.
Are you sending it to PSA or are you sending it elsewhere?
I'm sending it elsewhere, brother. I'm taking another gamble, I guess. That's well, that's what life's all about, right? It's taking risks. This is a fun hobby. I'm taking a gamble on a couple different grading companies. The one that's got the most backing, that's to me the most solid, like long-standing company is CSG, Certified Sports Guarantee from Certified Collectibles, Sports Collectibles. Yeah. So I've actually pretty much completed my submission, and I'm working on putting the video together around how I'm doing it and everything. And I'm sending a nice little stack of cards to them. A lot of them, like my Tom Brady Impact rookie, and my Steve Young rookie card and stuff like that, and the Deion Sanders, and I got a bunch of other ones. But yeah, those cards I'm sending in, and I don't even know if StarStock accepts them, but it seems like you. So you do a lot of selling then on eBay. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that where you're selling your cards at?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I don't sell that much, but yeah, I just sell on eBay. Have I sold? And then I guess I've done a couple of like private deals, with people that I know, but I'm just not selling that much. Not nearly as much as I buy. That's for sure. But yeah, I just sell things kind of, here and there, to raise more capital for other things that I want. And then I do put a lot of new money in. I'm just putting in kind of new money without having to flip.
Yeah, just with the thought that a lot of your investments should hold value long term. So it's like, why rush? And I'm kind of the same. I have the same thought process. Like, I don't think that it's going to crash anytime soon. I know we're in a boom, like, overall, but I think a lot of us are going to stay in the hobby. I think there's a lot of reasons to stay in the hobby too.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely, I think the hobby has changed for good. I don't know. I'm certainly sure there'll be a softening or, some of that stuff, but I think people are having too much fun for it to just go away. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't think that it's one of those things where you move into and then you move out of very quickly because, it was just a kind of a fad thing. I think that people will stay in it for an extended period. I think the real threat to, sports cards maybe are just other types of sports collectibles that become popular. So it's like when we talk about NFTs and stuff like that, how much money would shift away from sports cards to go to Tom Brady's NFT company? or NFL moments, because NBA Top Shot might not be your thing, but maybe it's not your thing because you're not really into basketball. I mean, what if it was a Mahomes moment or a Joe Montana moment, or a Brett Favre moment? I would be interested in any sort of, digital collectible like that, assuming they do it right. They've got scarcity. They've got, other things that they've kind of worked in. But I guess that would be kind of the threat to physical sports cards, that I see anyway.
Yeah, but physical sports cards have just been around for so long. Like they go so far back, and there's so many like really deep-seated, deep pockets collectors that that are in this.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that NFTs replace physical sports cards at all. I'm just saying, pulling money away from it. Pulling some money. Maybe it takes 10% of the money out of the hobby or 15% of the money out of the hobby and goes to that, which it would then kind of suppress some of the prices. So that's where I think it can have an impact. But I don't know. Who knows? That might not happen either. You never know.
Shout out to I saw Matthew Vescovi in the chat, fairly new subscriber. He sent me some packs of 1994 Fleer, Dustin.
Oh, love that.
This is right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, 94 Fleer. I'm just trying to think. Is that like Marshall Falk territory or is that 95?
I know Jerome. I know the bus. Jerome Bettis.
Is that 94? Okay.
His rookie.
That's awesome.
I'm going to open one up. See what we get in here.
All right.
Maybe Terrell Davis. Was he 94?
He might have been 94. Yeah.
I don't even remember what these cards look like.
That is so interesting. I haven't seen those. I really don't remember. I don't remember this set. I don't remember that, like the way the signature is.
That's nice, man. That little gold inscribed autograph there.
Yeah, you know what? This was right. I was 13 when this came out, so I think I was probably just getting out of cards because I never bought these. I think I probably like 93 was probably my last year where I took a break because I don't remember these. That's actually really cool.
Mark Collins. Who's this? It's hard for me to see from that. Jeff Cross. Yeah, this is actually a really cool set. I like the little gold autograph.
Yeah, I like that too.
Ken Norton.
I can't see the names because of the inscriptions or like the cursive, Yeah,
it's really hard to read. And then the name is like such fine print. And I don't have that great of a camera there, but that's a Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh. I was like, that's not Jim McMahon. Yeah, Jim Harbaugh. Nice.
That's awesome. But it's got a Colts logo at the bottom, but he's in a Bears uniform.
It's an error card. It's worth $1 million. Are
you serious? Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, maybe it was like mid-season trade. I mean, I know that Harbaugh played for the Colts, so maybe that's why they stuck the Colts logo on it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was traded halfway through the season, but it's kind of odd they wouldn't just keep it Bears if they've got a Bears photo.
Yeah, that's what it says. The Colts wanted a veteran to replace Jeff George, and they got what they wanted in Jim, a 4-year starter for the Bears. So he must have got traded. Must have been the time that they printed the set. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he's the man. He is the man. I've got one of his 89 score rookie cards. That's a great looking card.
The 89 score?
Yeah, check that out if you haven't check out the 89 score PSA 10 Thurman Thomas. I think they're about $100, maybe 125. But that's a good card.
Dermot Dawson, Harris Barton, Brad Baxter, Michael Bankston, the kicker. Jason Elam. Oh yeah, I remember Jason Elam. Bruce Kozerski. I don't think there was any rookie cards in this pack unless they didn't highlight them. But that I guess
Yeah,
the hit would been that all pro Fleer Thurman Thomas.
yeah, that's cool.
I'm gonna let's check out the 89 score because I'm looking to buy some more vintage. And I was gonna ask you while we're on here, like what's a vintage, like what's some of your, I don't know, can you give us like some of the best vintage picks? Like I'll kind of like pull them up. I'll look at it on eBay.
Sure. I mean, it really depends on which direction you want to go, I suppose. And I don't have necessarily the pricing for them. I mean, I showed you I had picked up a few weeks ago, or maybe I guess probably been a couple of months now, but I got a Walter Payton rookie card in a PSA 6, which I think that's a 76 tops.
Yeah.
And I got it. I was actually trying to buy two of them in case the pricing, and the reason why, I'll explain to you kind of why I went after that one. I noticed that I have a 58 tops Jim Brown rookie card that's in a PSA 3. And that card is actually now my most expensive card that I own. It's now at about $2,000 roughly. But I noticed that one going up, and Walter Payton is kind of, I mean, as far as football cards go, that Walter Payton rookie card is a big one. That's a popular one. And I noticed that PSA 6 was right in the $500 range. And that's about where I got it for. I think it was like $525. They had gone up when I last looked at maybe like $700, but for like long-term hold, and then that particular card too, just the look of it is really awesome. It's a great card. So that's a Walter Payton rookie card, 76 tops. Yeah, check out the 89 score Thurman Thomas. The PSA 10, I don't know what I would suggest a PSA 9 because they're fairly plentiful. The pop reports are not going to be, they're not super low on the pop. So the 9 though shouldn't be any more than $75 maybe, because the PSA 10 is, should be in like the maybe 125, 150 range, I would guess.
Let's see.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have changed, but
buy it now. There you go. 71. There's a PSA 9, 71, 78 or best offer. Plus 1143 shipped from Canada. So
yeah, are there any more? Oh, there's a signed one. Yeah, and then there's a buy it now at $75 for a PSA 9. So about 18 months ago, I got a PSA 10 of that card for $55. That kind of shows you like but that's just where the card market has gone. Yeah, BGS 9.5 with good subgrades could be an option too. I mean, I love the look of that card. Just I really like, well, for me, it's nostalgic too because of the big helmet in the bottom right, and then the way that it's color coded for the team. I really like this card because he's making a cut. He was the scat back. He was like the Alvin Kamara back then. He was the Marshall Faulk before these guys. One of the first backs to really catch the ball out of the backfield. Yeah, that's a really nice card. But like I said, I mean, those cards raw are fairly plentiful. It's just a question of how many of them are going to be in a great grade. How many of them are going to be in great condition. So price wise, I think you'd have to, you got to also really like the player and the card. But that BGS 9.5 that's a great looking card. But that's one example. I mean, 89 scores got a bunch of stuff. I mean, 89 scores got Barry Sanders, Troy Aikman, Deion Sanders, rookies. Derek Thomas was a huge star linebacker for the Chiefs back then. Unfortunately, passed away young. But his 89 score rookie card is also one that is kind of sought after just because of that reason. He was, it was a chase card back then, that Derek Thomas rookie card. It was well known. Yeah.
What year was that again, Dustin?
Yeah, it was 89 score, Derek Thomas.
Oh, okay. So all in that that rookie year was stacked then.
Very much stacked. Yes.
Stacked.
I've
I
been
got
buying
a sack attack.
I've been buying the Barry Sanders stuff. That's come down to a 9. The Barry Sanders 9 has come down into the $200 range. But yeah, Derek Thomas, I don't know if this is a great, as far as, long-term holds, who knows, but this was just a chase card. He passed away too young. Is it a good flip card? Probably not. It's more of just kind of like collector card.
Yeah, just long term. The scarcity, I think, is only going to increase on a guy like this.
But you just never know. I mean, this is a guy, he's not a Hall of Famer, so if you're looking at 89 score, I mean, maybe it's Aikman and Barry Sanders and some of those guys that are, their legacy is entrenched. I mean, those guys are never going to be forgotten. They'll be relevant down the road.
Now, what about super old stuff? Have you bought anything? Like, what's the oldest card that you've gotten into for investment purposes?
Yeah, I mean, the oldest football card I've got is the Jim Brown 58 Topps rookie card in the PSA 3. That's the oldest one that I've got. I've got some Bart Starr second year. I don't remember what year they are, though. So yeah, I've got some older stuff. I've got the Walter Payton rookie card. I've got a Steve Largent rookie card. I've got hold on, let me grab my stuff. Hold on. Do you want me to grab my stuff?
Yeah, get your stuff, man.
Hold on. It'll just make it easier.
Stuff.
1 second. I'm gonna go pee. I'm gonna go to the restroom. 30 seconds, grab my stuff. I'll be right back.
That gives us plenty of time to talk trash about you while you're gone. Where's Brad? Where's Brad the comeback at? What's going on, guys? Well, until Dustin comes back, then you guys give me. So, thank you to all you guys for tuning in tonight and joining us for this live stream. I hope you're enjoying it. We've talked about a variety of topics up to this point. This is definitely an episode I'm going to have to go back and timestamp because we've bounced around quite a bit on a variety of topics, but it's been a blast. Dustin has been a great guest. Of course, you guys can find him, if you don't know, at the Personal Finance Dad on YouTube. And, of course, you can always find me right here at the Fantasy Football Card Quest. Very excited about the draft. Let me see who else we got in the house tonight. Voodoo Ray, Sports Card 716. Give him a follow on Instagram. He's very active on there. JJ Bama is our class comedian here. I'm sure he's pumped about some Mac Jones getting drafted. I don't know, man. I think Mac Jones might have those intangible assets. Shout out to Drew. I love that call on the records break in the week 17. Tao, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man? Tao's always dropping some fire knowledge bombs. Sean Lane in the house. Sean really opened my eyes to investing in sealed wax on the secondary market. I think that is very doable, even at the prices of buying a blaster box or a mega box of optic for $100 on eBay. I still think that that's a good long-term investment with how stacked the 2020 draft class is in the NFL and how loaded the hits are in that product. I got to say, smart dude. Flea Market Mixtape, what is going on? Luca hit a crazy game winner tonight. Had no clue. Thanks for sharing, brother. Dustin's back, dude. That was incredibly quick. I don't know if I'm just long-winded or if that was just incredibly quick.
I grabbed my case.
All right.
I grabbed the football
Sweet
stuff. All right. Jerry Rice rookie PSA 7.
Nice.
They're
very
plentiful.
Nice.
Yeah, they're plentiful. They're out there, but still kind of one of those iconic cards.
Very iconic.
Smith. Yeah, Bruce Smith, the all-time sack leader, PSA 8.
Ooh. Same year,
86 Topps. As a Saints fan, got to go with Archie Manning, 72 Topps rookie card, PSA 8.
Nice. The big Saints letters at the top.
There's another Saints buy, but Ricky Jackson best linebacker in NFL history behind LT, I think. But anyway, Dome Patrol guy for the Saints. That's his rookie.
That's the same rookie set as Dan Marino too.
And Elway. Yep, 84 tops
Nice.
was a big. That was a big year too. Montana rookie. This was one of the first cards I bought when I got back into the hobby. This is about 3 years ago. PSA 8 Montana, and it was like $125 for a PSA 8 Montana rookie card back then.
Boom. That's incredible, man.
Actually picked up, let's see, like 3 of the, can I get these? 82 tops Montanas, PSA 9s, and these are they're just second year Montanas.
That's the one that's got, it says action packed on it.
Yeah, it's like in action.
In action. You'd be careful though. Like on eBay, I've seen a lot of people kind of advertise that as a rookie card.
Right. Yeah. Sadly, it's not. I wish it was. I've got 3 of them. I bought a few too of the. I've got 3 of these as well, but these were so cheap that it was like, these are Phil Simms rookie cards, 1980 tops. And these are PSA 8s. And then I also have a BFG 8. And they were literally $25. Like Phil Simms like won a Super Bowl. He had the like Super Bowl completion record, you know, for
he's still relevant today, man, on TV.
Yep. Picked up a couple of Art Monk rookie cards. These are 81 tops. So same year as the Montana rookie. Art Monk, one of the greatest receivers of all time. Hall of Famer. This is when I was chasing after Hall of Famers.
That's a cool name too, Art Monk.
Yeah, not a vintage card, but it's one of my. This is actually my best Breeze card. It's an auto. It's an upper deck auto, like Game Gear auto. 8.5, and then the auto is a 10. But just it's the only autograph card I have from a Breeze.
So has his retirement been made official? I mean, I know it's pretty much a done deal, but
yeah, it's official. It was time. For old Breeze. Tops traded, or it's just a regular top. No, it is tops traded for Barry Sanders. This is a 10. I got this one before it moved up too. I got this for like $110. I think it's maybe about double that now, maybe a little bit more. But again, I'm not flipping it. You know, I want to hold on to it. Most important card in my whole collection. Bobby Hebert rookie card, PSA 9. Look at his face. This is literally like the face of every single Saints fan for the last 40 years.
The hair too, man.
It's awesome. There's
he went to the same hairstylist as Brad, comeback card investor.
It's probably the same guy. Brad's like 55 years old, just not saying anything. There's that Dion we were talking about.
Love that Dion.
One of the older cards. Okay, so this is same year, I believe, as that Jim Brown rookie card. It's 58 tops, Bart Starr. It's not his rookie card, but a PSA 6. And I just wanted to have some of the older stuff. The graded stuff is for football. Some of that older stuff is really inexpensive. It's not. Now I say that, I mean, in comparison to, you know, baseball, basketball, some of that stuff. I don't know if you remember these. I know I'm older than you, but when I was a kid, like 1990 action-packed Emmitt Smith rookie cards, I remember going to card shows, and these were expensive. These were really expensive. The packs for these two were really expensive. I picked up a couple of the 9s.
Yeah, they had a thick card stock. They were almost like the edges were rounded already, right? And they had a lot of them were gold, and they had the gold script around them. Yeah, I had a ton of those. I found it from my childhood collection.
Mike Singletary rookie card and an 8. This is another one that's really inexpensive. Now again, it's Singletary, so I mean, defensive players don't get the same sort of love as QBs. These are kind of, the next two are kind of funny. So these are, I believe these are both Hall of Famers, but these are kind of, this is a tough card to find. Joe Theismann rookie card and an 8. I had trouble finding this card. This is 75 tops. But I had a hard time finding the Theismann rookie card. And then a John Riggins rookie card in an 8. I just like the look of these vintage cards are just cool looking to me.
That's a cool set. I like the way that's the big Jets letters on the sides. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I like the look of those old cards too.
And then like 84 tops again, like so Howie Long rookie card, and then also
Nice.
Eric Dickerson was also 84 tops.
Nice.
But like
I've been eyeballing one of those.
Yeah, in a 9, I mean, I got a couple of them for like $90, $100. They might be a little bit more now, but they're not crazy expensive for a 9 for a 40, like a 35-year-old card. I don't know. For a Hall of Fame, one of the greatest running backs of all time. I can keep going if you want, or if you want to shift gears, that's fine too.
No, keep going, man. I'm loving this.
All right. Second year Terry Bradshaw, 72 tops. I think these are both 7s. And this was, I mean, literally these were like $70 each, in a 7. So, I mean, it's not a 10, but these are 50, how old are these cards? I mean, like they're just not, you're not going to find them in good condition.
Yeah.
And then in that same set, Staubach rookie cards, Roger Staubach, PSA 6. Yeah, so if there's cards that you like, it's kind of like when you're looking at, Michael Jordan rookie cards, like not many people can afford the 9 or the 10, but if you go down to 5, or whatever it is, Michael Jordan's kind of a bad example, but point is with a lot of these older cards, if you just go down in grade, a lot of times you can get a good price point if you just really want the card.
Well, in a lot of what I've heard, and maybe I even heard this from you, is to invest in the player more so than the grade. Like, if it's a player that you really like, especially these vintage guys, just go ahead and invest in whatever grade you can fit into your price budget, because the scarcity is going to be there. If it's before the junk wax kind of era, before that 1989.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened with the Jim Brown. I bought that one. The PSA 3, people weren't buying it because it was such a low grade, and I got it for $200, and that was 2.5 years ago. Granted, everything was lower 2.5 years ago, but it was because the PSA 3. I was like, why would I buy a PSA 3? That's like junk. But because it's it's Jim Brown's rookie card, it's an important card. There's that scarcity built in. Earl Campbell. I was going after Hall of Fame running backs. This guy's career was cut short, but he had a lot of injuries. But man, he was the man. Oh, here you go. Here's more. Like, I love this card. Michael Irvin rookie cards from '89 Score. And I just like the blue with the Cowboys and everything. And 9s, these are like $75, or they were. Nothing too crazy.
He's all over the NFL Network, man.
Yeah.
Very, very loud, very dynamic personality.
The Bo Jackson. It's not a rookie card for Bo, but it's PSA 10 for his '89 Score. So that was more of a collector card for me. But yeah.
You got any of the Bo Jackson in the Score supplemental? I mean, because that was his rookie year, right? I mean, the '89, or is it '88?
88 tops. Yeah, 88 tops. I do have the supplemental one. Here's the Thurman. That's the 10.
Right,
we were just
10.
I wish I had bought more of them. And then I also picked up, like, I had shown you these. I've got 4 or 5 of the Barry Sanders in a 9, the Barry Sanders rookies, and then I've also got 3 of the Aikmans. Let's see. I've got a few of the Aikmans in a 9. Because once you go up to a 10, they get pretty pricey. The 9s, though, are pretty reasonable. You got to love the Dion, the Dion hair, the hairdo. I also like the Giant Falcons helmet. I just love this card. Great card.
That's a classic, man. I wish I had some. I have the Troy Aikman, Trying to think of what other ones I have in the 89 score. I just saw the Troy Aikman. I just put that on my submission today. But I love that set, the 89 score.
Yeah. I got a bunch. I have 4 of these. So this is a Marshall Faulk SP rookie card in a 9. And these were like $40. And I don't think they've really budged off of that. It's not crazy rare. Like there's a decent amount on the pop report, but there's not like 15,000 or 10,000 of them. But I do have a 10 as well. The 10 was like $250, but the 9s were like $40. So I picked up 4 of them. Because I mean, Marshall Faulk. Oh, here's that the action-packed rookie card. I was a big Favre fan growing up too, because the Saints weren't any good. So Favre was the Packers were the team that I rooted for just because they went to the playoffs.
Have you heard any of this Aaron Rodgers smoke that I've been seeing? Darren Hogum, shout out to Darren in the comments. He's another newish YouTuber, and he said there's a lot of smoke going around about Aaron Rodgers right now. I haven't heard it, but
well, I think it's because Rodgers said at the end of last season, that he's not sure what his future holds, type thing. Rodgers did say.
Yeah.
He was kind of cryptic about his future there, which I think he was just being, I think he was just disappointed that the season was ending. But they also drafted Jordan Love, so maybe he's thinking like, I'll finish out my contract and then I'm moving on. He's expensive too. You have to think about that. I mean, Rodgers is amazing, but he's getting up there in age, and he's what, 37, 38 million, $35 million, on the roster, where Jordan Love is sitting there for a couple, like 2 or 3 million. They might be just thinking it's time to move on at some point. So
have you seen him on Jeopardy yet? Have you watched his?
No, I didn't. I haven't seen that. Did you watch it?
No, I heard him talking to. I like to watch the Pat McAfee show when I can, and I heard him talking about his hosting performance there on Jeopardy, and also he was talking about that comment that he made. I see Matthew's talking about it as well. Yeah, he was talking about how his future was uncertain, and but he kind of blew it off as like, oh well, nobody knows our future and what's going to hold, and he's been there for a long time and this and that. So I don't know. I was just curious.
I know I can't figure out if he's just trying to get attention or if it's, because Aaron Rodgers can be a little bit of a diva. I think he's a great player, but I also just think he might be trying to get attention. It's just kind of ironic because if you remember back, I don't know if you were too young for this, but there was so much commotion over like Rodgers and Brett Favre situation. And I feel like the same exact thing is going to happen like 20 years later with Rodgers and Jordan Love or whoever that next guy is. Like Rodgers is not going to go out easy, the same way that Brett Favre didn't either.
Yeah.
Similar. Here's that.
I remember
talking about.
There you go.
Yeah. I like, again, this is like childhood stuff, but this is a $40 or $50 card in a 9 grade. And with grading going up in price, it's like, and I know it's not like, the card automatically goes up by the amount that the grade costs. But if PSA's new like minimum grade is $100, let's just say, then these graded cards that are $40 or $50 become bargains. I guess you could look at it, in that way.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, those become bargains. And as more like longtime football fans and guys that have been following the sport forever, they get into this hobby, and those are the cards that they're going to gravitate towards first. I mean, we all know those are not being printed. You get them in a graded format. You're guaranteed the authenticity, the pop report. How much is the pop report persuading what you're buying or investing in, or are you really, it's like that player, it's like I want that player because it brings in nostalgia and you remember them and the Hall of Fame status and everything else, so you're not even really looking at the pop report, but it's nice to have.
I definitely look at the pop report for everything, honestly, every single graded card that I buy. But what I will say is, like, if you look at 89 score Troy Aikman and Barry Sanders in a PSA 9, they're very plentiful. I mean, there's like 7,000, 10,000 of them on the pop report in a 9. But then I just look at price point, and then if I'm okay with that price point, then I'm fine with that. If it is kind of an iconic player, like Barry Sanders to me is one of those, like, he's like the unicorn of football. I mean, there won't ever be another Barry Sanders. There's a lot of people that feel he's the greatest running back of all time, even though he played 10 seasons. I mean, Emmitt Smith played like almost twice as much as that guy. Like Emmitt Smith played forever. I mean, if Barry Sanders had played the same amount of time as Barry, or I mean, if Barry had played the same amount of time as Emmitt, then there wouldn't be any conversation about it at all, about, the best running back ever. So that's why we have those debates. But that's why, like a player like that, I'm okay with spending $250 on that PSA 9, even though there's 10,000 of them, just because I think there will always be some demand for that card. Solid demand.
I'm on board with that, man. All right, Dustin, before we get out of here, because I see we're at an hour 40, I like to try and keep these somewhat watchable. Maybe somebody will click on this in the future and get some value out of it. But leave us with a bold prediction for the football card market specifically for the remainder of 2021. You got a bold prediction for us?
I'm going to go real bold. Oh,
I like it.
And I sort of think it could happen. It might not, but I'm going to say that the football card market, like to finish out 2021, is going to become hotter than the basketball card market, which really the basketball card market really drives sports cards right now. But just kind of the momentum that we've seen coming off of the Super Bowl and with football cards, I'm going to say football cards are going to be the hot topic. And I'm not saying they're going to catch basketball as far as maybe sales or anything else, but as far as just the excitement around cards, I think football cards are going to take over basketball. That's my bold prediction.
Love it, man. Could not love that bold prediction anymore. You guys heard it here first. Football cards are going to take over the market.
That would be awesome. I mean, football is my first love. So yeah, I mean, I love it. I hope that football cards are the greatest thing since sliced bread. I want that to happen. Love it.
Awesome, man. Well, I can't thank you enough, Dustin, for joining me tonight and talking about some football card hobby. And really appreciate you. Really appreciate all our subscribers and fans and guys that have tuned in tonight and that are commenting and subscribing. I mean, there's a lot of great support in this community. Guys, if you aren't subscribed to the Personal Finance Dad YouTube channel, you're missing out on some awesome daily content. He does, short little 10, 12-minute videos almost every day, guys. Really insightful, knowledgeable content that I highly recommend.
Thanks for having me, Andy. I appreciate it, man.
All right, guys. Well, I will see you guys in that next video.